do is the yoke. And when we do the yoke, you're going to need your back piece, your 2 front pieces, and your 2 yokes. All right? So I'm just going to walk you through it. Okay. So make sure that you have all of your markings on your yoke pieces. And right now, all I need is the 2 yokes and your back piece. I have 2 yokes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 yoke, I'm going to flip it, I'm going to match right sides to right sides, matching my notches like this, and I'm just going to lay it down right here. Lay it down. I'm going to flip this over, the entire thing, holding these 2. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to attach right side to the wrong side this yoke. Okay? So I have sandwiched in between the 2 yokes the back piece. I have right side to right side. I have wrong side to right side to the wrong side. I'm going to pin the beginning. I'm going to pin the ending, and I want all of these to match up. All 3 pieces need to match up perfectly on the top. And I'm going to stretch everything else in between, and I'm going to use my fingers. Remember, the notches are in the vicinity of the area. I'm going to put a pin down the center, and then I'm going to put a pin here, and I'm going to put a pin here. We're going to stitch 5/8 from here all the way across to here. Back stitching at the beginning and at the end. Now, if you're having problems with your machine bunching up back here, start sewing 12 and 6 like a clock. And I'm kind of holding it a little taut. And I'm going to back stitch. And I'm going to give it a haircut. Okay. Now, you can take it to the ironing board and you can press that up, and then you can press this up. All right. Okay. So now we need our front pieces, and we only need our front pieces. We have 2 yokes. Do you see that? So we have the yoke in the back, we have the yoke in the front. We're going to hold this up so that we have both sides here, and we're going to drop the back yoke. We're going to drop that. We're not going to sew with him yet. What I'm going to do is take my front pieces at the shoulders, and I'm going to line up my shoulder. I'm going to put a pin at the beginning. I'm going to put a pin at the end, and then pin everything in between. I'm going to do the same thing to this side. I'm going to take the right side of my front to the right side of my back yoke. I'm going to line it up nice and perfect on the edges, and I'm going to stitch on both sides 5/8. Everything is to the left, lining it up. I'm going to back stitch right at the beginning. upped my speed. It's killing me. Okay, back stitched. Give it a haircut. Do the same thing to the other side. All right. All right, so now we've got to attach this, okay? And how we do that is you're gonna lay your front pieces down, and starting at the bottom here, we're gonna fold it, and we're just going to fold, and we're gonna roll and roll and roll until we see our yoke. You see how we start to see our yoke? This is called the burrito method. So now we have our yoke, right? So we're gonna leave this tube right here. We're gonna pull our yoke facing up to meet this one, and we're gonna put right sides to the wrong sides right here. And once again, you're going to pin and stitch 5/8 right along that stitching that you've already done. If you want to do it on the other side, I don't care. Everything needs to match at the beginning and at the end. And so 5/8. Making sure that our little burrito in there is not going to get in our way. Raise it. Next one, just kind of use your hands and just make sure that there's nothing in the way. The great thing about this is when we are finished, there will be no exposed seams. Everything is going to be hidden inside. Okay, so now we get to birth our burrito, all right? And how we do that, we're just going to take it, pull it out, and unroll him. And as you can see, so here's our back yoke, right? Here's our back yoke. And on the flip side, there's no exposed seams. They're all hidden inside. At this point, you need to go take this to the ironing board and stitch it and press it down. And then we're gonna do 2 rows of top stitching. Just like your pocket, you can choose, but we're gonna top stitch along the edge at the shoulder and also at the back yoke. This is where your stitching is, and you don't have to back stitch. This is where your stitching is going to show. So you want to make sure that your stitching is looking good. And you have the right color of stitching, whichever you want it to be for your top stitching. Last one. Now, as I'm stitching this, I am kind of like pulling this seam apart with my hands